Hi everyone, it's Sarah here. I last saw you all at Christmas time when we read a story from Barley the Bear stories all about Jack and Barley and how they helped Father Christmas save Christmas Day. As it's now springtime, we're going to do a spring reading about seaside and pirates and treasure and all sorts of exciting adventures. So if you're ready, let's get started. Barley the Bear and the Pirate's Treasure. Are you ready to come with me back to Pawlett Island so we can see what adventures await Jack and Barley Bear? Take my hand and I'll take you there. Barley and Jack walked along the shore. Jack had sand up his nose and all in his paws, for he loved to find a stone so big that he could bury in sand and have a good dig. 6 months had passed since Christmas time, when you sat with me and heard the rhyme of Barley and Jack and the Christmas sleigh, and how the two friends saved Christmas Day. Jack, stop, wait, what is that? Barley exclaimed as he looked at the sand. There poking out was a shiny thing. Help me, Jack, Barley started to sing. Jack jumped forward and started to dig, moving shells and stones and old bits of twig. At last he came to the object they saw, and Jack turned it over with a sandy paw. There in the sand was a coin that was gold. It didn't look new, it looked very old. It's pirates' treasure, Jack said with pride. They've brought their loot to the island to hide. As the two friends dug, more treasure they found. They put it on the sand and created a mound of coins and gems and a golden crown. Jack turned to Barley with a low growl and frown. We'd better take this treasure away. Pirates will return to dig up one day. And I'd rather we weren't here when they turn up, or there'll be no Barley Bear or Jack Pup. Barley nodded his head. Then we'd better go back. To carry the treasure, they found an old sack. Lying in seawater, they pulled it in and filled with treasure right up to the brim. Dragging the sack with teeth and with claws, they pushed it with noses and pulled it with paws, until away from the beach they had come and were now in the forest, away from the sun. They continued along a flower-strewn track. Heading for home went Barley and Jack, until at last they reached Jack's home, a big log cabin all of its own. Jack said to Barley, I'm going inside to show Mum and Dad this treasure to hide. Barley nodded. I'll go home too. My Mum and Dad will know what to do. And with that they parted, each went their own way, until tomorrow for a brand new day. On entering the cabin, Jack barked at his mum, who looked at her dog and said, Goodness me, what have you done? His mum couldn't believe the sight that she saw, shiny gold treasure all over the floor. Jack Russell's family gathered around, staring open-mouthed at the treasure he'd found. We need to find a place to hide all these gems before we see those pirates again. Then Jack's dad looked towards the floor and opened up the cellar door. Into the potato store the items slid, under lots of vegetables the treasure hid. And so the treasure was now safe, in a very strange hiding place. Barley went home and told his dad of his day with Jack and the adventures they'd had. Mr. Bear looked concerned and went on to say, Barley, you'd better take me down to the bay and show me where the treasure was found, for we need to check all the way around. The two bears walked through the dark, quiet wood. Mr. Bear led the way as a good dad should. Barley happily followed him all the way until they reached the shore of the bay. Barley, stop, Mr. Bear suddenly said, and in his tracks he stopped them dead. 4 shadowy figures walked up the sand. 2 had shovels held in their hands. The pirates are back to dig up their loot. To warn the others, we must shoot. Arriving at Jack's cabin in the midst of the night, they banged on the door until they saw light. Jack's mum was surprised to see them both there. She called her family down from upstairs. Awakened from sleep, they all did gather to ask Mr. Bear what was the matter. The pirates have returned, they're now on the shore. We must lie in wait, we must guard the door, for once the pirates see the treasure's not there, they will want to find it, and exactly where. It won't take them long for them to see that your cabin is the place the treasure could be. The family made busy securing the house. They hid in the darkness as quiet as a mouse. Mr. Bear lay in wait behind the front door, ready to pounce on the pirates with a great mighty roar. It wasn't long before footsteps they heard. They all held their breath. They did not say a word. The footsteps became closer yet. How much nearer would they get? They soon found out as the door opened wide and 4 burly pirates stepped right inside. Suddenly from behind the door Mr. Bear swiped a huge paw and rose up on 2 legs to his full height. He was very big and a fearsome sight. He opened his mouth to show huge rows of teeth and snarled and he roared as pirates fell at his feet. The pirates were screaming and started to run, and Barley the Bear thought this great fun. So with Jack behind him, they ran out the door, followed by a very scary Mr. Bear on all 4s. The pirates stumbled and tripped as they ran. "Let's get out of here as quick as we can. They're catching us up," one pirate cried as they approached the shore and the incoming tide. They ignored their rowboat that was moored on the sand and swam instead away from the land. With splashing and crashing through waves rolling in, they saw Mr. Bear begin wading in. Finally, they reached the ship that was moored some distance away from the island seashore. They scrambled on deck with grateful relief to see that giant bear still baring his teeth. As one final roar, he gave them to say, "Do not come back, you must stay away." They raised the anchor and hoisted the sails. To escort them from the bay came the orca whales, the giants of the sea in black and white. They too wanted to give the pirates a fright. They swam right up to the side of the ship, then dived underneath, making it tip. The pirates held on to anything they could, trying to balance on slippery wood. The orcas then pushed the ship on its way to make quite sure they did leave the bay. And when they were sure the pirates had gone, they turned right around and set off for home. The whales could see at the shore of the bay a huddle of forest folk waving away. "Thank you, dear orcas, for helping us rid our beautiful island of pirates that hid treasure that wasn't rightfully theirs, discovered by Jack and Barley the Bear." To end our story, I would just like to say the treasure was taken the very next day to the police on the mainland, where it could be left for the rightful owner to come and collect. And so we must leave our island friends until we can return to Pawlett again, to meet Jack the dog and Barley the Bear and find out what adventures we will have with them there. And I'd just like to show you some of the pictures in this particular story. So we have Jack and Barley digging on the sand at the shore of the bay, and I think we can see the treasure there right inside where they're digging. And then there's a picture of the pirates, and Mr. Bear is chasing them back through the forest down to the shore of the bay and saying, "Leave us alone and don't come back." So there we go, and then that's the front of the book, which I don't know if you're seeing that in reverse, but that's Barley the Bear stories. So that's where you can find out all about Barley and Jack and their adventures. So the real Jack has just come in. I'm very pleased he's not barking. And I'd like to say goodbye for now, everyone. And I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.